Hi everybody, I'm Father Zachary Crowley, and I'm very excited to share with you all what they saw up the mountain, our pastorate's first full-length documentary about one of our ministries.
Things that people have had to go through to collect this money, to visit the people in Haiti. It's a whole fantastic story.
I think about it every day. I probably think about those children in that country every single day.
I think it's out of sight here, it's out of sight there.
There's very little government right now. Down the mountain in the larger cities, there's a lot of crime. Some of those schools are not even open. In 2007, we found out that there was a Archdiocese program, ministries program, that was matching up local parishes to parishes in Haiti.
It was Deacon Mortel that was instrumental in getting the whole project started to begin with. Well, he is a born Haitian, native Haitian, physician, was trained in the United States and ended up staying in the United States, but he was always very tuned in to Haiti and the problems in Haiti. And he encouraged the Archdiocese or the Archbishop to look into the possibility of, first of all, supporting his efforts to get a school, a trade school, built in St. Mark. And he would also like for various parishes in the Archdiocese to, what they called it, twinning, partnering with specific parishes in Haiti with the intent of improving their lot in life.
Father Joe and two parishioners, Rick Howard and Suzanne Cooley, went to Haiti and visited with Deacon Mortel and were shown this mountain parish that other people had not accepted as a sister parish because it's so difficult to get there.
We're told there's just one parish, you're probably not interested in it because it's way up in the mountains away from everything, which has turned out to be a blessing.
And when they came home, they presented everything they'd seen to the parish, and there was a questionnaire. Are we interested in going forward? Do we want a sister parish? And it was overwhelmingly yes. Our goal was to have $5,000 that we could donate to the feeding and education program so that 200 children could eat 3 days a week, a hot lunch. That $5,000 a year has now blossomed to $82,000 is what we did this year, and we were able to do that. Now 500 children are eating lunch at least 4 days a week because they leave early on Friday. And we're paying the teacher's salary also.
I've been with the Haiti Ministry probably about 5 years. Before that, I was kind of in and out, and I would help with things, but really full-time doing helping with the fundraising end of the Haiti Ministry. When they had a huge hurricane, and it was devastating, I said, you know, we should do something extra. And so that's when we came up with the Haiti craft sale.
Well, I went to their first bull roast ever as an attendee, and that kind of sparked my interest, and it blossomed from there. I believe I've been involved in every bull roast since then, and when I learned about the needs of the children in Haiti and what we could do, what differences we could make, I was just so excited to be able to be a part of that.
Because the families are very, very supportive of us. Every time we would go down there, we were just greeted, by everyone would come up to us and shake our hands and just say how wonderful it is that their kids now are being fed and educated.
Again, I didn't get involved in it until after the first trip, but Father Joe Cosgrove and Suzanne and the other parishioner went down in it because it's way up in the mountains away from everything, which has turned out to be a blessing for us, let me tell you.
There's very little government right now. Down the mountain in the larger cities, there's a lot of crime. Some of those schools are not even open.
It's a difficult trip.
Every year, up until about 5 years ago, when the political situation in Haiti made it impossible for us to go, we'd sent a team of people once a year. Kidnappings are still going on. These people need our help.
Well, in landing, I observed the massive slums, and there's no other way to describe them. Just people surviving with cardboard and metal, anything they could scrape up. The next thing that impressed me most was Father's, the priest at the time, his nephew picked us up at the airport, and I noticed he was packing a pistol in his belt, and it was a bit of a drive from the airport, and all these initial impressions, the filth of the poor people. There's just trash everywhere, and when you're scraping a living on the earth, I'm sure you don't give too much darn about keeping it neat. So we had quite a drive to get up the mountain, and again, security. We stopped at a grocery store briefly so the priest could go in and get things, and of course there's very few automobiles in Haiti, so there was only 2 parking places, and there was a guy with a shotgun and a pistol guarding the parking area, and Father's nephew got out and showed his gun and told us to stay in the car. So it was both the poverty and the danger, so to speak.
Just the overall overwhelming impression you get of Haiti as a nation as soon as you step off the plane. You're met with masses of people, most of which are living in poverty, and the congestion too. When you're in the cities, there's no such thing as a traffic light, stop sign or anything. People are on foot, on bicycles, on motorcycles, in cars, and everybody just sort of goes down the road.
Well, obviously, especially now there's such violence in Port-au-Prince, and yeah, we've heard all the stories.
Haiti essentially is now under the control of a handful of oligarchs.
A president was assassinated. A recently elected president was assassinated. I'm not sure why. I suspect he may have been trying to eliminate some of the corruption.
And the oligarchs are the ones that have put the gang members in Haiti in positions of authority. They're not in office, they have power to control certain areas of the country, and they're ruthless. One of the reasons we can't go there is because one of the great sources of income for them is to kidnap foreigners and hold them for ransom. Too dangerous. Crime is, to the best of my knowledge, is rampant. And the gangs are in such a position that they have a strong arm on the population.
In our time in Haiti, we did not see what I would call a safe and well-to-do compound, but there must be some in parts of Port-au-Prince, and I suppose that's where the moneyed people live, and they've probably got power.
There's only one way that we have right now of getting anything into Haiti, is that we would take many suitcases And those suitcases, we would pay for the extra suitcases on the flight. And they would contain things like solar lights for the students and for their families, backpacks for the students, school supplies, all that kind of clothing. The sewing ministry at our at Holy Family would make clothes, and we would pack them up and take them down and distribute the clothing.
Showtime is a ministry within the pastorate. Most of the people in that are from either Holy Family or here, and a few from Our Lady of Sorrows.
One of the first groups I was involved when they were taking a trip to Haiti, and we made pillowcase dresses and little shorts, and we made as many as we could, and they loaded those in their suitcases along with school supplies.
And there was no way you could get anything in. You can't ship anything to Haiti. We did try, another church tried to ship a container full, and in fact, we had some stuff that we put on that container. And once it left the United States, it was never heard from again. And what happens is these containers arrive there and then they're just taken.
One time we were stuck in it was like a student, I won't say riot, but it was definitely a large group of people yelling and screaming outside of where we were trying to drive our truck through. And they just, parted and let us through.
The only way we have been able to get things into Haiti, short of carrying them in ourselves in baggage, which is what we would do on our trips, was we had a pilot. He worked out of Florida. His name was Joe Hurston, and his ministry, and he still does the ministry, but I don't think he does it to Haiti. He's got a private plane, and he flies into these countries. People give him stuff, make a donation to his ministry, and he'll take it in and see to it that it gets where it has to go. He coordinates with the people there. They come directly to him, pick it up, and go. We landed one of the first trips that we took. One of the things that we brought down with us was this electronic keyboard. And I was sort of lingering back. Most everybody else had moved on forward. And I was back with the luggage, and a security guy came up to me and went, "Follow me." And I went into a room, and they didn't speak any English, and I didn't speak Creole. But the bottom line was that they saw the keyboard, and I think, first of all, they wanted it. We ended up having to pay a duty of $50 cash. Meantime, everybody else is wondering where the heck I am. And we got the keyboard. So it was a successful barter, if it were. It was pretty real. And unfortunately, a lot of that realism comes from people going down and visiting. Inspired, shall we say.
At one point, there were 23 parishes in this archdiocese that had sister parishes in Haiti. A lot of them are no longer able to do it. We are one of the parishes that have actually really maintained our level, or actually increased it. And of course, that's because we've added Holy Family and Our Lady of Sorrows.
Our hope is that children that are going to school and getting educated and learning that there are people in the world that care about them, that we can help them make their country better and safer, eventually.
I think it's out of sight here, it's out of sight there.
For our Haiti ministry, the people of St. Elizabeth of Hungary, our sister parish in Haiti, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
It's really appropriate that our first film about the ministries at the Pastorate of Our Lady is about our Haiti ministry. This poor Caribbean nation has suffered immensely over the past 2 decades. But during that time, starting at Our Lady of Perpetual Help and recently expanding to Our Lady of Sorrows and Holy Family Davidsonville, we have served thousands of school children and teachers who are desperately in need.
It takes a couple of hours to go from Port-au-Prince to St. Mark. And the first few times we went, we stayed in St. Mark overnight. We usually arrived late in the afternoon and stayed in a church in the rectory in St. Mark, and had dinner with the religious that were there. And the next day, we would travel from there to a town called Le Petit Riviere. And Petit Riviere is sort of the jumping off point. It's in the central Haiti in the agricultural district in the valley. And from there, we would start the trek up the mountain. And it was usually anywhere from 2 to 3 hours drive on what they referred to as a road, but it was really not much more than a gouge out of the side of the mountain with a lot of rocks and hairpin turns. And
the mountain road was kind of like a goat trail. There were times we had to stop and move rocks to flatten the road out a little bit to make it passable.
And initially, we couldn't even get to the village of Paradent, where the church was located and the school was located. We had about a 2 to 3 hour hike from what we call base camp, which was the end of the road, on another rocky up and down trail around one mountain and up on another. Paradent was located on top of another mountain. And so it was a good solid 2-day trip to make it there. Later on, we ended up pushing it and getting it done in 1 day, but that was a lot of work. Much easier to make it in 2 days. The one thing you take in, by the time you're up at base camp and heading towards Paradent, you are in the boonies. There's nothing around. It's all hills and mountains, not heavily forested, and you see pictures of it now, and it's mostly barren with occasional standing trees, and that's all there is to it. But it's beautiful.
The next major impression I got was the beauty of the land. Once the drive consisted of an hour or 2 or 3 along the coast, and then we started up the mountain.
You can't drive up to the sister parish, but you can drive to a Bel Air where you can park the truck, and then it's somewhere between a 2 and a 6 hour walk up to the sister parish. And it's a very hard walk. I've done it twice.
And then we got up on top, and we were still about 3 miles from the school, and the road is impassable past that. So we hiked the last 3 miles, and all the older kids from the school met us there and carried our luggage and things.
Sunday mornings, they start singing as they're walking. Some of them walk 2 hours to come to church, and they're singing as they come along the way. You can hear the people singing as you enter the church. These are the people, they need help, and we do it.
I've heard, how remote they are, and that's a blessing, because, it's too much trouble for them to come up there and disturb these people.
Things up the mountain, remember it's a long way up that mountain, and you can't drive. It's all hiking, because of the gang violence and the gangs who have actually ransacked the churches and the schools. But so far that has not come up the mountain. Most of the gangs don't want to walk, 3, 4, 5 hours and not find anything to rob.
I think the danger up there's not much to steal up there. I mean, these people are poor. They level a little plot on the side of a mountain and put up a shack and grow a garden. And so I got the impression that the gangs are down in the cities.
Our little community is blessed because it's at the top of a mountain. So, not a country away, but a distance away. And, I guess it's very difficult to get up there.
I rode the mule. And we were in a hurry to get down the mountain, and I wasn't walking fast enough, so I had to ride a mule. The mule was very sure-footed. It was right on the edge, and you look down, and it's like straight down.
Father Joe on yeah, okay. The second time we went up, he got within about 3/4 of a mile of Paradent. He sat down on the side of the road and says, "I'm stopping here. This is where I stop. You all go on." They brought a mule down for him and brought him the rest of the way up. Oh, Sunday Mass is huge. Yeah, the daily Mass was probably attended by, 30, 40 people, maybe. And on the weekends, it's a very large church. You can maybe see the front of the church, but it's probably 3 times as deep as it is wide. And on Sundays, that's usually full to the brim. During the week, it's a cappella, and then during the weekends, they have the keyboard and some percussion instruments and guitar, and they really kind of rock out on the weekends.
The impressive thing was the music. There were times when they had all the kids in there singing, and someone's, a few people are beating a drum, and the chants of not a lot of instrumentation, but the singing and the chants were wonderful.
Our parish is way up in the mountains, and they're thriving. They're thriving. We have over 500 kids in our school, and they don't know about all the gun violence and all the stuff that's going on around them.
In Matthew chapter 25, our Lord tells us that when we feed the hungry, give drink to the thirsty, clothe the naked, heal the sick, visit the prisoner, we are serving Him. How great it is for us at the Pastorate of Our Lady, with our brothers and sisters at Holy Family in Davidsonville, to serve some of the neediest people on the face of the earth.
When I heard the struggles and the reality of the lives that these children lead, I just couldn't imagine that in this day and age that there were children that were starving.
It's the level of poverty. One thing that really impressed me was one day to have a party, we sent down the mountain. It's about 11-mile walk. A couple guys with a burro to bring up some chicken legs, and the sisters cooked them up, and they put a chicken leg, the meat from a chicken leg, divided 3 ways to 3 different kids. So it was no more than a bite. And some of them I saw putting in their pocket, and I asked the sister what they're doing, and she said they're taking it home to share with their family. A single bite of chicken.
They only have rice and beans for their meals, and that they had one bowl for the whole family. So when these children went to school, they had to share that one bowl and that one spoon with all of their siblings that were in school.
Some of them have as far as 2 hours, a 2-hour hike to get to the school from home. So that's 4 hours on the road a day just to go to school, and quite honestly to get a meal, which in fact is very well the only meal they'll have. It's the one they get there for the day.
And then at the church, it was interesting. Our very first morning, we went to Mass, and the young man that was the server waited at the door for us to come out, and he signaled me that he was hungry. So I told Father that this young fellow was hungry, and at first Father gave me a look that he was not pleased with the situation. And then he said, well, invite him up and have him sit outside the building where he was living. And we brought him out a little bit of food. I even gave him a candy bar I'd stashed away. But I think the point that Father was making with that initial look was they're all hungry. And there's not, we're doing what we can for a large group. One impression was the dedication of the priest, and there were 2 nuns there. And their dedication to helping these kids was just wonderful. They'd obviously dedicated their lives to it. So the main courses are either pasta or beans, things that can be stored in dried bags. pretty much on the ground and cooked in a big pot on the ground, with a little bit of broth from either a goat or a chicken, spread among the 400 or 500 kids.
So one of the first things that we were a part of was making sure that every child had their own bowl and their own spoon to have that rice and beans on the 4 days that they were in school. And some days that was all they had as a meal. And I just couldn't imagine that.
Probably the biggest one we did was a school building, which I believe it replaced one that was literally falling apart. There was a big hole in the back of the building. I think that was 4 classrooms. And then probably 5 or 6 years ago now, we did the second school building, 5 classrooms and an office. And now we're actually looking at building a second story on that second school building. That's our project for this summer. Other projects, we have provided the funds for 2 four-wheel drive vehicles 10 years apart. So yeah, there have been a lot of incidental things we've done. We've also provided satellite internet and solar panels and with storage batteries and a few other things, rain barrels. And there is a rectory which is not in very good shape. And at one point we were putting money aside to redo the rectory. But now that this option came up about a second story on the school building, we think that's more along our commitment is for the children. And Father Benoit, who is the current priest at St. Elizabeth of Hungary, agreed.
It's interesting that there was a public school right next to the school ground of the parish, and the kids in there were very curious, and at times were stacked up at the fence watching us. And I don't know that they get fed there. In fact, I don't think they do. So a big advantage of the St. Elizabeth's is four meals a week for the kids. And I think that may be pretty much what they get.
Father Gilfred, who was the pastor before Father Benoit, who's been there probably 2 years now, they're very, very good about sending pictures. Before, the political situation in Haiti the last 4 or 5 years, those of us who were there, would take pictures of all the school kids. Now, Father Benoit is very, very good about sending pictures.
When those items made it to Haiti and we received photographs of the children wearing the items that we made over their school uniforms, because they didn't have enough for each child, but if the child received really good grades in school, then they were they earned the dress or the shorts. But when I saw the photos and I actually saw items that I personally made or I saw others make, it brought it all together, and it was probably one of the most touching videos I'd seen.
Every time we send money down there, give me a break. Yeah, I mean, we're sending down $20,000 and $30,000 a crack.
Oh, we love to fundraise for our children of Haiti.
First of all, it was just OLPH, and then Holy Family joined in. They've been very, very generous, and now Our Lady of Sorrows also. So it's 3 parishes.
And it's sort of like going down a rabbit hole. You really don't know what's down at the bottom of that hole. Now, we do have a way of getting money into there, and so far we have not lost a single wire transfer, and that is miraculous.
Fortunately, we have a priest who is able to work things out, and we get the money there. We're able to get the money there, and he's able to get the food and continue, to do what we do.
I don't think there's a store or an event that I go to that they're not in the back of my mind. Regifting things that come to you not quite sure what you're going to do with it, and somebody goes, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, and I say, give it to me. I'm going to include that in an auction, a raffle basket. We're going to give this to our kids in Haiti.
Now, I don't know how Father Benoit gets the money from Foncosi. That's the bank that we wire this to. But Father Gilfrid used to take his, he was his cousin or his brother or his cousin. I think it was his cousin down with him. He was armed. And he went in with a guy holding, holstering a gun right here to pick up the money and go out.
I'm in awe when I see God's work and the people and the joy that it brings to people that are actually involved in the fundraising. It goes beyond that, and it's just wonderful to see.
The fact that we support them financially, it's a good idea to put boots on the ground, as you referred to earlier, and observe exactly what's going on, to see if it's efficiently used and what's needed, and what else we can do.
And to gather information, pictures, music, videos, and so forth, that we could bring back and show people what their money was going for.
And almost immediately there was a Haiti committee of 10, 15 people easily.
The once per quarter really came along in time. It used to be they had only the bull roast, and then we were like, well, we need to raise more money.
My children now know that, oh, give it to mom. She's going to use it. She's going to raise funds for Haiti with that. And the quilts that we're able to make, the quilt bingo that we do.
We also do an adoption program, and that's usually done in the fall. Sometimes it's the spring. We kind of rotate that, but where we just simply have someone speak about the ministry, about how important it is, and ask people to adopt a child.
Monetary donations to the Haiti Ministry are essential, and there are lots of different ways to give. But what always needs to be remembered, that any gift of any size will make an exponential impact in Haiti.
The fundraising has really had to pick up. And so I think we started out when this ministry started, I can't remember the number of the amount that we had committed, but now we're committing $82,000 a year, and we're fundraising and or collecting, adoptions for all of that.
This is, I believe, our fourth summer to do a crab feast raffle, because everyone knows Marylanders love crab feasts. And not only do you get a bushel of crabs, but you get shrimp, you get soda, you get beer, you get corn on the cob. And we deliver it to your location within 50 miles.
I think what is appealing to this whole ministry from the beginning is that the people know exactly where the money is going. We have met the children, we've seen them being fed, we see the kids, we take their pictures, and these are the actual children that are being fed. And the money goes right into the account of our sister parish.
Right now, we're trying to raise not only our yearly budget to raise money for the feeding and education program for our more than 500 students, but we're also trying to help them build another floor to one of their classrooms so that they have more classroom space for their students.
Over half of that money comes from just donations. There are some parishioners that donate weekly and a few that donate monthly, and some that give very generous donations, once or twice a year. And then about half of our money comes from our fundraisers, of which we have one fundraiser every season.
To overwhelming success. Just amazing.
People were still, we have never not made our commitment ever since that 2007 $5,000.
Again, we have received videos of the children thanking us and singing and celebrating. And the amount of children that were in the classrooms and in the, not an auditorium, but they were gathered as a group, it was, you knew that they appreciated it from the bottom of their hearts.
They always got the money, and they've always made it back up the mountain with the money, and it's it's gone where it has to go.
If you've only been at our pastorate for a short time, or maybe for a long time, you may not know exactly what the Haiti Ministry is up to. Lots of our parishioners come and they hear us pray for our Haiti Ministry during Mass. They see fundraisers for the Haiti Ministry, like our annual bull roast, and they might not know exactly what we are doing on the ground.
Our quote mission, unquote, is to promote the feeding and education program there. As the years went on, the enrollment in the school increased dramatically, and of course with that the costs went up. So that cost went up considerably.
I guarantee that we are making a difference to the lives of these 500 children and their families.
There's a lot of things that people can do behind the scenes to help out without having to say, oh, I have to commit all this time. You don't. You really don't. And then the quilt bingo, same thing. It's a one-day commitment because we do everything kind of behind the scenes. But that day, that's when we need people on the ground to help us.
Now, Father Zach, who's here now, is very supportive. He thinks we're doing a great job. And Father Benoit is very, very tuned in to what the kids need. We're always looking for new members, or even if you don't want to be a member of the committee, you can still help with the fundraisers because we always need people to help out.
At the same time, there's a spirit among the people that, especially the children, they're almost always very positive, happy, joyful. They sing, they dance. And they're very happy to be there at the school. It's very obvious. Our job is to give them the means to get a good education, get some nourishment in the process, and pray that the good Lord will help them on their way.
We just look for inventive ways to change the bull roast, to change things so that it keeps people's interest.
People are always asking, how can I get involved? All of the ways that we collect those monies require people. In addition, we need people who are good at accounting to help us to transfer the monies and to keep track of how much money we're raising and spending. We need people who are good at advertising. We need people here at the Pastorate of Our Lady who are ready to be boots on the ground, maybe not in Haiti, but for Haiti.
Life-changing, and we know we are making a difference in that one little tiny corner of the world.
The Haiti Ministry people that are currently on the committee are so blessed. God has touched each of their lives, and it's a wonderful thing to be able to work with them on this particular ministry. And it would be a blessing to have others join our cause.
This ministry is providing hope for the people in this tiny village in Paradin. Now, they are blessed, as I said before, that remote, hard to get to parish in the mountains is a blessing to them because they do not have a lot of the crime problems that are associated with most of Haiti. That's about as amazing as I can get.
Our mission always is the kids. That's our main mission, is that the kids get educated and fed. And our hope is that, it makes a difference in their lives, which it appears to.
People using their talent to help those little children, put a smile in their face.
The closer you are to a problem, the more involved you are, the more satisfaction you get out of it. And to me, it's a wonderful feeling to help people who just are scraping by to exist.
We adopted this parish, and we want to continue to see it thrive.
You're blessed, and your blessings are not meant to be kept to yourself. You are meant, as a blessed person, to help others.
Every year with the bull roast, we always go, oh, maybe this has seen its day, because everybody gets worried. We're 2 weeks out and we haven't sold. It always comes together. People always buy the tickets. People are the last minute. It's okay. I'm like, look, it is what it is, and it's going to come together. and it always does.
You're blessed. What are you going to do with those blessings? How are you going to make a difference?
Our Lord tells us, "What you did to the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did to me." Every meal that we have provided, every penny that we have paid, every hour that we have worked in our Haiti ministry here at the Pastorate of Our Lady and with our brothers and sisters at Holy Family in Davidsonville has gone to some of the neediest on the face of the earth. In doing so, every time we gather together, we don't just serve these poor children in Haiti, we serve the Lord Himself. If you've been inspired by what you've seen here today, please contact Nancy, who's one of our leaders in the Haiti ministry. Her contact info will be at the end of this film in the credits. God bless you, and thank you for watching.